Good. Welcome back to the stream. Today's going to be a considerably more relaxing day, and that's not by accident. Let's open VBA. Let's play some Pokemon Emerald Rogue EX, I guess. Let me load state here. Yeah, okay. So, it seems I'm starting kind of like, I don't know, a significant way through the game. That's because this is a roguelike. This is Pokemon Emerald as a roguelike, and it follows a certain format. I played this a little bit off stream as well. And I really like it. I like it a lot. Despite the fact that, like, I'm very used to playing around with the EVs and IVs and whatever, it seems like this roguelike is kind of built with that in mind, where you get certain items along the way. It's like, it's part of the game design that it's like, you're not really supposed to have a full EV-IV spread as you're going through. It incorporates that, I think, in a way that makes me okay with playing around with it in-game, as opposed to using, like, a hex editor to be like, all right, 252 EVs here and here, you know the drill, I don't want to spend all the time on this. But in this game, you're not supposed to be spending that time on that. So, shout-outs to the creator. Shout-outs to Opium again for recommending I play this game. Very cool. Very cool game. And there is shit that I want to talk about today. And this is a game that will allow me to talk about that at my own pace. Here, hold on. I need to pull something up right quick so I can start talking about some of the stuff I wanted to start talking about. But just so I can, like, get I don't know, get some shit ready. Here, let's go to Kyle Kulinski, Secular Talk. Very cool dude. Do not play that video, please. The source is a Jackman magazine article. What? Let's see. I want to find a source for this. Well, in any event, I do have this thing open. Where is Yeah, okay, I'll get to that in a minute, but for now I want to start playing the game. I'll talk about some stuff that doesn't require any news articles as well. Some of which is not directly politics, and more so related to the hobbies that I enjoy. But what's that? Well, I guess I should probably go this way either way, because average fierce round. Stand fierce? Street Fighter reference? Nah, I'm just kidding. Beast balls? What? The fuck does that mean? Oh, designed to catch Ultra Beasts. I guess I have those in this game. Sand Slash? No, I'm good. Am I at the level cap already? I am. Okay, cool. I don't need to worry about that. It would be useful to... Ah, dang it. Yeah, get out of here. It would be useful to learn what kind of Pokemon are hanging around here. One of my hobbies that I want to talk about is PC building. I built this computer that I'm using right now. I built it 4 years ago, actually almost to the day. I built it in June of 2020, you know, when the pandemic was raging, when, you know, obviously everybody has to stay home and you know, all of that kind of stuff, right? And at the time, it cost me about $2,000 to build. Let's see what Pokemon that was. That's not. And the parts in this PC are a Ryzen 7 3800X, NVIDIA, or I guess EVGA, RTX 2070 Super. Oh, I don't know what the. Okay, yeah. 32 gigabytes of DDR4 3600 RAM to G-Skill Ripjaws kit. And I think I forget if it's I think it's an 850 watt power supply from like Corsair, something like that. It's in a Corsair case as well. Very easy to work with. And I have like I have a couple older spinning hard drives in there from older computers to store some stuff that I don't immediately need. And then I also have an NVMe drive that I use for game storage. That's where most of my Steam games are installed. And I have a SATA SSD that I use for a boot drive. And that put me out like $2,000 to $2,200 or something like that. The same PC nowadays would cost me half as much, funnily enough, or like comparable spec. Occasionally I'll just go and play around with what is it, PC Part Picker and stuff like that. Some of those websites where you can sort of pick out which parts you might like to use for a computer and stuff like that. And it is a really good time to build a PC right now if you're thinking about that. I don't know what Pokemon they sent. Okay. Really good time to do that if you're thinking about doing that. It is not that difficult to assemble a PC. You can look up a tutorial on YouTube that will walk you through it. It might take you some time. It's definitely a time-consuming thing, and I'm not going to pretend that it's not. But it's not a super difficult thing to do, and I think it's definitely worth it. Speaking as somebody who, well, kind of jumped into the deep end of the pool, you know. Thank God I used this. No! Wrong Pokemon. Ah. Annoying. Let's use the Typer Potion on you. And I'll just save state, I guess. I don't know. There's no real save game option here. Might want to catch a Houndoom. But that's just for the high end. For like the high end of gaming stuff, you don't need to spend all that much money. I think if I go... Well, I don't necessarily want to spend all that much time on PC Part Picker. But with like an i5 13600K, which is like as powerful as my current CPU or better, and then, you know, a comparable graphics card, maybe somewhat of an upgrade to a 2070 Super with a DDR5 RAM kit, and, you know, similar power supply and storage or whatever, costs about half as much. So I was mentioning $2,000 to $2,200-ish for this build that I have currently. That kind of PC that I described there, with modern parts and components, only costs, I think, like a $1,000 to $1,100. Which is not that much for like a full-ass gaming PC. For like high-end stuff, too. This isn't your budget gaming PC. Which, by the way, you can build a good budget gaming PC for under $400. I've tested this. I went to PC Part Picker and just looked for some of the best, the cheapest components, the best bang for the buck components and whatever. You get like a Ryzen 3 40 something hundred. It's like 4100. And you know, you get an older MATX board, a cheapo case, and a modest power supply, and an appropriate graphics card, maybe like a 2060 or a RX 5500 XT or even an RX 580. You know, it comes out to under $400, you know. Of course, that doesn't include peripherals like monitor, keyboard, and mouse. But I'm assuming for a budget build, you just kind of use whatever peripherals you have lying around. I mean, that's what I did with the budget PC that I have downstairs. That's for like family use and stuff. So we already had a keyboard and mouse pad. We're just kind of use that. Uh, but yeah, very fun hobby to engage in. It's every now and again I'll just go and spec a PC just for the hell of it, knowing full well that I'm not in the market to buy one. I mean, this PC is still like way more than enough, Like if you have a 3800X and a 2070 Super and a 32 gigabyte kit of RAM, you are not, you're not hurting for a good PC at the moment. You don't need to worry too much about that. Um, Yes, Houndoom. No. This is the only time I will use save states in this game, unless I literally forget what Pokemon it is they're going to send out, because the text does display on screen there. Catching Pokemon is just really annoying. Yay, Houndoom. Who do I want to forsake to the Shadow Realm? Man, I don't know. I actually have a really good team, even without a fire type. Eh. You know what? I gotta go with Brock. Brock, I'm sorry, you've been a homie. You gotta get out of there, mate. I will give a nickname. I will name you Henry. Just feel like it. Sir, what's up, S. Goodman? Welcome back to chat. What kind of nature are we looking at? Special attack up, defense down. Fuck yeah. But anyways, the long and the short of what I was talking about there is just that, if you are looking to buy a PC or build a PC, now is a pretty good time because components are pretty inexpensive relative to all the like crypto craze and whatnot. There was definitely like a 2 to 3 year period from 2020 to 2022, 2023 when GPUs cost as much as an entire computer because, people were going nuts over cryptocurrency mining and stuff. And they wanted that sweet crypto money, so they were milking the GPUs for all they were worth, scalping them on the market, using them as a speculative investment vehicle, things of that nature. And it was rough. It was rough for people who actually needed a computer, mostly gamers, which is a relatively small demographic part of the market for who's buying PCs. But I could imagine it also has some effects on like the VFX industry. Anybody who needs to use some of the more intensive like rendering capacities of a computer as well. All because some fucking investors wanted to make their money work for them and do no work of their own. Although, thankfully, for people who just do kind of menial office work and wouldn't need much more than a display adapter, they weren't, affected too badly by that. Because, a lot of office computers just don't even have a GPU, or just have a really piddly little one for, like, a display adapter. But, gamers rejoice because, you can get a pretty good graphics card for pretty inexpensive. I know a lot of people are going after the 4K gaming craze, but let's be real, you do not need more than 1080p or maybe 1440p for a game to look nice. And so there's no shortage of like inexpensive graphics cards that can get you good frame rates at medium or high settings on 1080p, 1440p, even at higher refresh rates. It's just a good experience, I think. It's a good time right now for that. It's not a good time for a lot of things in economic terms. Certainly not for rent, but for PC hobbyism, it's all right. But anyways, such is the nature of being a computer nerd. You follow this sort of stuff. No, I've been burned. And I think this is just the rub is that this is the first time in a while it's been a decently good time for both higher end and budget end PC builds in like several years. Now is a good time for both of those actually. So that's nice. Although we'll see if anything changes with Nvidia and AMD's plans for like future processors, graphics cards, etc., etc. If they keep doing the meme where they make graphics cards bigger and bigger for no reason, and they just like the graphics card prices continue to increase. Well, you know, it tends to go in cycles like that, but I guess enjoy it while it lasts. So if I end up making that a segment, pretty short segment, cut it there, future me. Amaranth, eh? Oracle. Just to be safe. I've sometimes Torkoal will have drought. I think Torkoal can have drought as a hidden ability, so I didn't really want to get caught with that. What do you have? Flamethrower Punch, Nasty Plot, Inferno. Pretty good moveset. Not gonna lie. In case you're wondering, by the way, why I'm not playing Melee, it's because Melee makes me very tired. It's hard to commentate while I'm playing Melee. And you saw the ease of commentating that I just had with this game. So, that's what's what. What's up, little tuber kid? What's going on? Almost Star. It's a shame I don't have a grass type. Well, I do have an electric type. That ought to do me some good. I like the exchange when I join because I have no idea what's going on, but the articles are interesting. Oh, that's nice. I'm glad you appreciate that. I was trying to find an article for something I was talking about earlier, or something that I wanted to bring up, because it seems that Israel has started to pivot from just attacking Gaza to attacking Gaza, but also like attacking Lebanon. You know, they've been kind of pestering each other back and forth. Israel has been posturing with respect to Hezbollah, which is a very large, I think technically non-state militant group, but they like have some kind of agreements or whatever, as the case for a lot of major militant groups. They have some kind of relationship with the state of Lebanon. Israel seems to be escalating their attacks on that front. I didn't see which Pokemon it was. Okay. Which would be bad. I think suffice it to say that wouldn't be good if Israel is indeed attacking Lebanon now. I can read the one bit that I do have on this. This was a pinned thing from the Al Jazeera live feed. I mentioned at one point in a video that I had regrettably sort of lost one such update, and so this time I made sure to pin it so I could see it later. Some drama from the UK embassy denies it had warned Lebanon of upcoming Israeli attack. So apparently the UK had warned Lebanon that, hey, Israel is about to attack. You know, even countries that are allied with Israel on paper are starting to get very uneasy with the way it's been behaving in the Middle East. And this is significant because, you know, the operation in Gaza, the genocide in Gaza, is one thing because Palestine is not a state. That's part of the whole issue, is that Palestine does not have statehood. Lebanon is a state. They're a member state in the UN, and it would be really, really bad for tensions in the Middle East if Israel attacked Lebanon again. It's been a long time since the last, like, proper war between Israel and Lebanon, but, you know, this is not the first time Israel has been belligerent in this sort of way. I believe the last time was the 1970s or 80s when Israel invaded Lebanon and I think conducted pogroms or did a pogrom, and then the US told them to stop or something like that. But here we go. The UK embassy has dismissed a Lebanese media report that it issued a warning to Lebanon that Israel's planning an extensive assault in mid-June. That's only in about a week. We reject reports, this is a quote, that the UK has suggested, let alone sent diplomatic message to Lebanese authorities that Israel will conduct military operations in June. Said a UK embassy spokesperson in a statement, adding that it's not the UK's role to, quote, comment on Israel's military planning. The UK continues to work towards de-escalating tensions between Israel and Lebanon, the spokesperson added. Our engagement with both sides is focused on generating conditions for Stability and security on the blue line. We are clear a conflict is not in anybody's interest. Now, obviously, you could take the UK embassy at their word here, but I think we should all know better because this is international diplomacy. That's not really how this stuff works, right? I think this is where you can get a Pokemon, so I'm gonna go here. So I could potentially read this as like the UK kind of signaling both ways that it, you know, kind of saying to the cameras, no, we didn't contact Lebanon about this, but also we don't want Israel to attack Lebanon here. You know, because they want things to simmer down, and Israel very much doesn't, judging by the way that they've been behaving, that is. I should buy some hyper potions. I will sell some of these. But I don't know if there's actually that much more to this. Al Jazeera, separate article here. Are Hezbollah and Israel about to go to war? Israel's threatening all-out war against the Lebanese group Hezbollah, which could be catastrophic for both countries, say analysts. A little bit about who Hezbollah is. They're, you know, long story short, they're a non-state militant group operating out of Lebanon. As is the case with every group in the region, they're that is not friendly to Israel. They're supported by Iran because it's like a game of wedge interests where Iran supports its wedges in the Middle East and we support ours. So it's kind of like a proxy thing. Israel's our proxy. Hezbollah is Iran's proxy. But Israel's been acting kind of like a rogue state. So how much they're American and American proxy is kind of up for debate. Why is it feared that a major conflict is coming? Because Israel seems to be threatening exactly that. On June 5th, Hezbollah fired 2 suicide drones into an Israeli village that killed 2 people and injured 11. Yeah, like I said, non-state militant group, they don't do good things. Just because they don't like another really shitty country doesn't mean they're good. They do bad shit. And I believe they are in line with most militant groups in the Middle East, motivated by some variant of like Islamism. But, you know, extremism is pretty common to all militant groups and even militaries to a certain extent. So it's almost like militaries and militarism and militaristic activities are pretty bad across the board. You know, that's a crazy concept. Israeli firefighters just put out almost 100 fires that broke out from these attacks. Subsequently, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel is prepared for a very tense operation on its border with Lebanon. Okay, so the PM directly suggesting that, like, yeah, we could go to war with Lebanon over this, maybe. Israel's far-right national security minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, visited some of the areas hit by the fires in the north. Said it is unacceptable that a region in our country is targeted while Lebanon remains quiet. We must burn all of Hezbollah's outposts to destroy them. Okay, so that doesn't leave very much room for interpretation. Interesting. Despite Israel's rhetoric, Imad Salami, an associate professor of political science at the Lebanese American University, does not believe an Israeli invasion is imminent. I don't know what would prompt him to say that. He says, like, oh, Israel's facing security challenges. That hasn't stopped them before. An invasion would likely result in severe international condemnation and strained relations with key allies, particularly the US, which would complicate support. Again, hasn't stopped them before. Who am I supposed to support? I'm kind of off-road. The key thing in stories like this is that you shouldn't be supporting anybody, right? Israel is currently doing a genocide in the Gaza Strip. Hezbollah is an Islamist, non-state militant group. Nobody in this story is the good guy, right? You get a lot of this stuff, especially considering the way international politics works. A lot of times there just isn't a good guy, right? What we should be hoping for here is that the international community is able to put enough pressure on Israel so that they don't like start this war or don't carry it very far. The ideal outcome here is that nothing happens, that Israel doesn't invade Lebanon, and that like scrutiny from the UN is hard enough that, you know, Israel's like, all right, we won't do that, right? Um, but you know, there's not much that we can do about it from our own position, right? This is an international thing. That's for heads of state and politicians and all those people to worry about. Um, what I'm hoping for in particular is that you know, I think a lot of anything good that can happen in the Middle East right now is contingent on Israel stopping doing what they're doing, right? Because even though I don't like anybody in this situation, from Israel's pattern of behavior, it has been very belligerent. Israel has been very belligerent and been acting kind of like a rogue state. It is wildly out of step with UN suggestions, UN mandates, and stuff like that. Even the US, its closest ally, has started to become more critical of them. And I think Israel has most of the power in any of the situations that they're in right here. Like I said, Hezbollah is a non-state militant group. Yes, they're relatively friendly with the state of Lebanon, but Lebanon is a very small state and doesn't have a massive ally like the US backing them up. There, even with Iran, there's only so much Iran can do because Iran is afraid of attracting the ire of the US as well. The US has absolutely devastating power in the region, and Israel is the only country that's kind of on good terms with that, and they have a lot of modern tech and that sort of stuff. The onus of this situation is on Israel. The onus is on Israel not to attack, right? Even though Hezbollah is launching missiles and drones and stuff at Israel, you got to understand that these are very basic, like bottle rocket kind of missiles and like switchblade drones. They're not very complex military tech. Yeah, they have the capacity to do some damage, but ultimately the tensions in this situation that are leading to them doing these attacks have ultimately been created by Israel. So Israel needs to stop and start negotiating with both Hamas in the Gaza Strip and Fatah, the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank, and Hezbollah in Lebanon to like cool things down, to de-escalate the situation, like that professor said, I believe, or like the UK ambassador said. And there's going to be some pressure on them to do that. But I don't know if that's going to happen because, like I said, Israel's been acting really irrationally. You know, I guess it's kind of disappointing that I have to say this, but like some other situations, a lot of this amounts to a big fat I don't know. Because, you know, when things get really unstable in a given region, that means things are also very uncertain. There's a lot of dust being kicked up. That's why the phrase "when the dust settles" is a thing. And it's hard for me to see what all is really happening right now, you know? Very long answer to a short question, but that's international politics for you. All right. Oh, oof, I thought the game froze for a second. Helper, oh boy, this is not good. Okay, because I don't give a fuck about it. Sometimes it gets annoying on my timeline. Yeah, look, the Twitter and social media is almost entirely disinformation when it comes to this kind of stuff. A lot of people's views on international politics is motivated by a little thing that we call campism, which is kind of like politics as a team sport. A lot of people will you know, take the Free Palpatine. Yes, I agree. A lot of people will take the sort of approach of X country is good and Y country is bad. Like, you know, one country is good, one country is bad. Well, that's not really how international politics works. They're just countries all pursue their own interests. It's, you know, very simple premise, but like nobody's doing it optimally. You know, everybody makes mistakes in doing so. Some countries have more or less insane leadership, so you get a lot of variables added into the process and makes things very confusing. But people kind of default to campism a lot because it's a very easy way to it's an easy way to sort of compress all that complexity into a, I don't know, something more comprehensible. If they want to help, then sign up for the army. That is not how you help in situations like this, believe it or not. You know, a lot of the tensions that are being exacerbated right now are military in nature. So people joining the army would make things worse rather than fixing them, I think. I'm kind of getting destroyed right now. Oh, Rayquaza? Oh, it's over. It's fucking over, dude. I don't have an answer for this. Unless... Okay, yeah, no. Definitely not. No, it's life forms too? I'm fucked. If somebody wanted to help in a situation like this, you know, it's very limited, but like, I don't know, donating to charity maybe could be something. Or I don't know, like talking to their political representatives in the legislature and whatever, because the people that have the power to do things in scenarios like this are governments. They are like countries, actors within the UN, and like sometimes charities, right? And ultimately, it's all about who's getting in the ear of the United States, because the U.S. has a lot of money, they have a lot of influence in the region, and that sort of thing. And you know, protest is a very effective form of political activism here. Even though it's kind of hard to feel that like working in any capacity. People have been protesting just as a way of showing, hey, we don't like what Israel's doing. We think Palestine should be a state. We think this needs to stop. And that has actually had an effect on a lot of politicians, because a lot of governments have to take into account, or actually most governments have to take into account public opinion. So, you know, if you're really interested in going and helping, find a pro-Palestine protest to go attend. And, you know, every one person that's there, that helps, because it sort of puts the pressure on elected representatives of, hey, we have to start telling Israel to stop doing this. You know, they're violating all sorts of international law and whatever. Not too hectic? Then I don't know what to tell you, mate. I mean, maybe, you know, you can donate money to certain causes if you have the money, but, you know, it's ultimately, those are the two ways that you can help, you know? And yeah, I agree, it is very hectic. A lot of protesters have been getting beaten up by the police, because that's the job of the police, is go beat up the protesters, but, you know, people are going out and doing that stuff anyways. Substitute, eh? I'm probably gonna get messed up by this Proprius. Honestly, I'm just letting this whole thing fly over my head. Sometimes I forget, and the news reminds me. And that, yeah, that's perfectly fine, I guess. Like, a lot of people just kind of don't engage, and I can't blame them for it. Politics is a lot. Yeah, no, I don't know what else there is to that whole story. Maybe I'll get fucked up by this gym leader, and then I'll see if there's any last bits I can find about Israel potentially attacking Hezbollah or Lebanon at large. But if not, I'll probably conclude the segment there. Last ditch endeavor. 1 HP warrior? Let's go. No, he's gonna eat the citrus berry again? Oh. Waterfall. Please flinch. Okay, well. I'm dead. Okay. So here we get another feature of this game. This is interesting. Since this is a roguelike, dying or you know, whiting out, losing all your Pokemon, that's part of the experience. That's intentional. Which is great. So I got a bunch of money. I will save my progress. Yes. Speak with me once you're ready for your next adventure. And there's a bunch of cool stuff to do. There's like I think there's new features that get opened up. Furthest progress, 8 badges. Nice. Here, hold on. Lebanon. Okay. Yeah, no, okay. It seems that that's the whole Israel is kind of posturing to attack is the latest and greatest on that front of news. So I can't really speak to what will happen, but I can speak to the motivations of Netanyahu for escalating like this, right? I've mentioned Israel at large acting like a rogue state, and that's because they fucking hate Arabs and Muslims over there. Many such cases, states do that sometimes. But Netanyahu in particular has been a big driving force in this, and that is because of all the hot water that he's in, both with the courts in Israel and with the courts internationally. Israel isn't a signatory of the international courts. They're not a member. So he just has to not leave Israel if he doesn't want to get BTFO'd by the courts there. But the courts in Israel aren't very happy with Netanyahu either because he's been consolidating power and attacking the judicial system there. So they kind of want him to stop doing that, and he's under investigation, I think, for corruption. This was a story from a while back, but he's kind of damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. So what he wants to do effectively is keep Israel in a state of war for as long as possible so he can stay in power. And what gives me some hope that this situation might actually resolve is that nobody likes Netanyahu. Really, nobody. His approval rating is super low in Israel. Joe Biden doesn't like him. Americans don't like him. Israel's allies don't like him. Even a lot of his own cabinet has criticisms of him, and he's like, there's some turmoil in the Israeli government. If he gets ousted, things might change. But I think that's about it. You know? So basically, you shouldn't root for anybody in this situation, but you should hate Netanyahu because he's slimy and authoritarian and hates an entire ethnic group of people, and that's pretty bad. So, yeah, future me, cut that segment there. Hopefully this gets resolved in some way, but it's hard to tell because of how unstable things are right now. Squid. Yes, absolutely. That's so true. What is this? Safari Zone. What is this? We use data from your Pokedex to breed Pokemon and let them roam freely. So thanks for providing Pokemon data. We'll allow you to enter and capture a few Pokemon of your choosing, which you may then use as a partner in future adventures. Oh, how nice. Would you like to enter? Oh, no, I assume it costs money. Yeah, okay. Let's see. I don't have any Pokemon in the PC box. Okay, makes sense. Silly me. By the way, that's Lantern that you saw I had in my party. That is my starting Pokemon. In this game, I think you get to pick a randomized partner Pokemon in the very beginning. And I picked Chinchou. And named it Kelly. And it's actually been pretty helpful throughout my whole adventure. I've gotten used to sort of building my team around having Lantern on the team. I've been enjoying it, I think. Got some berries growing here. Do I have any berries that I can plant? No, I don't. I can harvest these. And I will plant them again, I think. Yeah. Nice. Plant some berries, that's all well and good. If I find more berries, I can plant them over there. This is just the hub area, by the way. Oh yeah, I've already, I know that stuff. Who's this guy? I'm the name raider. Ah, okay. No, I'm perfectly happy with Kelly being the nickname. Pokeball shop. Do I have any items on me? I do. I have some Pokeballs, a Premier Ball. Okay, I have some stuff. General shop. We got some items here. Okay. Some TMs. I don't think I need very many of those right now. Only I had a Surf HM. I don't think I have a Surf HM, do I? No, I have Cut, Flash, and Rock Smash. Professor Birch's lab. Hello. No, you don't need to. You don't gotta do that. What's this? Config lab. Change settings. EXP all is currently on. Yeah, I think I prefer that. Trainer difficulty is currently average. I think I like that. Item rates currently average, yeah. Legendary encounters average. Enable reward EVs currently on. Info. What does that mean? When enabled, Pokemon will gain EVs at the very end of trainer battles. These reward EVs will be given based on the nature of the Pokemon gaining. Interesting. This feature is intended to be a reward mechanic for not having Pokemon faint. When disabled, Pokemon will always have 0 EVs. That's interesting. So it's like a balance mechanic? Control will only affect you, the player. Trainers will never have EVs, regardless of whether this is enabled or disabled. Okay. Allow over-leveling is currently off. Yeah, okay. I think I like that. Bag wipe is currently off. What does that mean? If enabled, when embarking on an adventure, the contents of your bag will be wiped and you will be given the starter items instead. Key items are the only pocket which will remain untouched. No, I think I want to keep that as it is. No, I do not want to enable speed mode. I don't know what that means, but it sounds very committal. I don't think I want to do that. Actually, I can cross off these things here. And now I can talk about something that's not directly news related, but it is unique to America. This might be interesting. I don't know if you are American, S. Goodman, or if anybody else in chat, if they are American or from Europe. If you're from Europe, you will definitely find this interesting. So I'm a big fan of analog horror. As are probably a lot of people. I mean, I know a lot of people are. I see the views that those videos get on YouTube. People like that stuff. But recently there's been kind of a shift into digital horror, which is like kind of early digital media and stuff like that. And one interesting thing that I've come across is the EAS scenario format of horror storytelling, right? Basically, like, oh no, emergency alert system. You know, you're seeing this. Ooh, very scary. Yeah, that's right. Basically, like, oh, the emergency warning system comes on over your TV and tells you, oh, there's a warning about this stuff, right? And a lot of times it'll be some supernatural stuff. But I found one that actually wasn't, and it was super interesting to me for a couple of reasons. And it was called EF6. It was a tornado scenario where it takes place in Texas, where there was a tornado that was so severe that it had to be classified as a level above the maximum rating of EF5. It used all text-to-speech voices, but it had various different contexts in which you would see information being delivered. There was like you could be in the newsroom with the weather map, you could be in a car with the radio, or something like that, I think. It felt very immersive, despite it just being like the text-to-speech voices, like Vocaloids. Alpha Burden. Let's go average typical. And it was very awesome in terms of the scope, right? It was like, oh, Houston gets hit by this tornado, and this tornado is so bad, right? The tornado is so severe that even bunkers and safe rooms aren't safe anymore, right? Like, if you can imagine how bad an EF5 is with more than 300 kilometers per hour wind speeds, right? Then, like, I don't know, EF6 might be like twice as powerful. The ability to mangle steel and reinforce concrete and stuff and tear up the ground underneath it. Basically, a storm that is powerful enough to level an entire well-developed and well-prepared city. Um, you know? And possibly the scariest thing about it for me was that it wasn't that far from something that could feasibly happen, right? There have been tornadoes that are strong enough to physically dent, like, steel, like, basically safe rooms that are built out of the same stuff that a modern tank would be built out of, right? Tornadoes are fucking scary. Let's throw a Pokeball. Nice. I'll name you Venus. The writing is also really good, to such an extent that, like, even the text-to-speech voices of, like, the characters felt real. They felt like real people. It somehow, like... Venus, yeah, that's true, Joker mode. It's hard to convey urgency with a monotone robo voice, but somehow they did it, and I am so glad that they did, because holy hell, it deserves to have that kind of urgency given to it. But part of the reason that I've called out Europeans specifically as somebody who might be interested in this is that apparently Europe doesn't get very many tornadoes, at least not especially severe ones, you know? Do I need a potion for this? No, I don't think I do. I think I'm alright. They can happen. I've seen tornadoes happen in Europe, but usually I don't think I've seen anything stronger than EF2 or EF3 strength tornado happen in Europe. Which, of course, there's still the potential for some kind of serious damage to happen there, but, like, in the US, the kind of tornadoes we get are like absolutely insane. And the reason for that, as I learned, is that there are certain climate conditions that are unique to America that actually don't exist anywhere else in the world. And those climate conditions are what produce tornadoes. So in order for a tornado to happen, especially a very powerful one, what needs to happen is a couple of things, right? You have to have a wide open, like, flat area, right? Certainly that exists in Europe and Asia and whatnot. Right? So that's number one. You have to have a flat area, but then you have to have polar opposite climate conditions right next to each other. That is very difficult to achieve in somewhere like Europe or Asia, because you have to have very warm air right next to very cold air. In the US, we have like a lot of really, really warm air that comes up from the Gulf of Mexico from the south, and then Canada, really cold, really dry air coming down. And the third thing that makes tornadoes happen is not just those two opposite climate conditions, but specifically when they run directly into each other, right? Front system will come through. But I think the US is one of the only places in the world that this can happen at such a scale that it produces monster tornadoes, when the really warm, moist air is sort of coming up and runs directly into the really cold, dry air in the form of a front. It produces what are called supercells, a very special kind of thunderstorm where the air physically starts spinning. Like, the way that hot and cold air interact with each other is such that, like, they're trying to push past and mix with each other, and it literally creates a vortex. And the more drastic the larger the front and the more drastic the contrast between the hot and the cold air, the moist and the dry air, the more pronounced the spin, the harsher the winds. Basically, it's an amplifying factor. And that's what produces really strong tornadoes with wind speeds of 200 to 300 kilometers an hour, sometimes more than 400 kilometers an hour. really, really fast wind speeds can be produced by tornadoes like that. And from what little I know about the sort of climate that you can have in Central Asia, in Europe, places that ordinarily would probably be pretty good for tornadoes, they're like missing that crucial component. In Europe, you're sort of missing that massive contrast between hot air, cold air running straight into each other. You know, because the circulation of air in Europe doesn't lead to that happening very often. And of course, in Asia, in Central Asia, it's uniformly pretty dry. You don't get a lot of, you know, you wouldn't really get moist air coming up from Southeast Asia because it'd have to go over all those sorts of mountains. There's a natural barrier to that. But in America, you have literally a perfect storm for the perfect storm. And so this EAS scenario that I was watching was basically like, what if we took that and then induced some implied climate change or whatever to make those conditions more severe and produce a tornado so horrifying that it leveled an entire city? Which is plausible. There have been tornadoes that wiped entire American towns off the map. Towns of like a couple thousand people. These are not like, some of them are podunk villages, but these are not like absolutely unheard of settlements, you know? Caused a lot of property damage. And in fact, it also explains why certain houses are built really quick and cheap, especially in the South and in what we call Tornado Alley, like the Great Plains region. There's a lot of houses that are built out of really unsturdy materials there. And that's because tornadoes are a seasonal event here. You know, you wouldn't really want to build a house out of bricks or cement or any type of much more sturdy material. First of all, because it would be a waste of money because the house wouldn't last all that long anyway, right? But then also because when a tornado tears apart a house, right? A tornado would of EF4, EF5 strength would be able to tear apart a brick house just like it would tear apart a house made of wood or siding, right? The only thing that you would get from a house made of more sturdy materials is more dangerous debris in the tornado. So that can actually do a lot more harm than good sometimes. So, and of course, you can tell by the way I talk about this. I've been interested in tornadoes for a very long time. I used to read meteorology books about tornadoes when I was little and how they form and how they, you know, how they move. I wanted to talk a little bit about it because it was just something that I've been interested in. My interest has been piqued a little bit lately. And it's also, I think, one of the only things, it might be the only thing that is genuinely unique to America. You know, people talk about American exceptionals and whatever. The only way that America is truly exceptional is the weather and the tornadoes. That is the one thing about America that you actually cannot find in any other part of the world. I don't think I've ever heard about an EF5 tornado anywhere that isn't America or maybe Canada. So basically, I'm proud to be American because we have the best tornadoes, the strongest tornadoes, the most deadly tornadoes. I don't know why. I just felt like talking about that. People leveling up a bunch. Oh, I forgot to check what nature this is. Oh, that's pretty good. What do you have? Tackle, Stomp. Pretty okay moves. Except you. What Pokemon can I find here? There's one I haven't found yet. Interesting. Ah, Wurmple. Okay, that's what it is. You know what? I mean, I've been catching every other Pokemon. I may as well catch this one too. I don't think I'm gonna nickname it. I don't know what it's gonna evolve into. Really don't. I don't know what you have. Probably gonna have. Oh no, Chansey. Okay. Cool. Easy experience. Water gun. That's just Bubble, but worse. Just worse. Ooh, finally. Special attack. Get rid of, I don't know, Foresight? Probably. Get rid of Foresight. Fuck seeing the future. I'm not Nostradamus. Get rid of Supersonic, I guess. Supersonic's super inaccurate. Headbutt. I like that move. Get Tackle out of here. Even though it has less usages than Tackle, it's just a better move. This is just better than Growl. Everybody's burning levels. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Everybody's trying to learn everything. You're more defensive, so get Growl out of there. Wait, what? I didn't see... Whatever, I'm switching Miltank. Sure. Dunsparce, the best Pokemon? Spilcoon, okay, okay. Soda Pop. Okay, cool. So we are gonna get, what's his name? Beautifly. We're gonna Tackle for this. That's good. Here, hold on. I actually want to write a couple things down. June 7th stream. EF6 and being autistic about tornadoes. Yes. And also June 7th. Alright, cool. Let's strike those off the list here. Yeah. Get ready for the next thing. Oh boy. Ah. There's another story that's going to be mostly funny stuff. And that I'll get to tie class politics into a less complicated, like, much more comprehensible and digestible form of politics, so that'll be fun. Hardened String Shot was... You know what? Maybe get Tackle out of there. Poison Sting could be useful as, like, a poisoning move. String Shot out of there. Yo, what's up, 1v3? Playing Pokemon. Attack up, speed down? Ooh, that is not a good nature. But, hey, I mean, it's a Pokemon that I have, so might as well try to make use of it. Playing Pokemon Emerald Rogue today. Much more relaxing game. Very fun game, too. It's a really unique kind of Pokemon game. I'm surprised that they haven't done a sort of a roguelike Pokemon game before. Outside of, like, Mystery Dungeon, but I don't really count that because it's a spin-off game and all that stuff. Jaboka Berries. Acid Berries. I don't know what those do, but okay, I have them. Is there a door on that house? No. Damn. Somebody's stuck in that house. They can't get out. There's no door. Well, I guess they could jump out the window. Yeah, that's pretty true. Oh, wait. He has pickup for his ability. Give me. Yes. Wait, I can't go up there. Huh? Oh, I have to go in here. I see. Palm confusing route. Wait, isn't that kind of a, like... Isn't that kind of a contradiction? If you're confused, I don't think you would be very calm, right? Like, there's... I don't know. Ooh. More Pokemon to be found here. That's fun. How many Pokeballs do I have? Still, like, 12, which is good. We'll see. Let's see what I catch and what I don't. I hope there's some items here, too. Boink! Ah, that's great. That is great. Let's do some of this. And then... Nice. We'll name you... Raul. Yes. Neutral nature, alright. That's all well and good. Only no splash, which could be potentially an issue, but that's fine. Let's now talk about, now that I've caught another Pokemon, let's talk about the funniest shit that's happened recently. The funniest shit that I have on the list today, at least, as well. WSAZ News Channel 3, Huntington, West Virginia, I guess is a local news channel, but they're reporting on something that's relevant beyond the local level, so here it goes. Another billionaire plans to visit the Titanic in a submersible to prove it can be done safely, reports say. You know, because that worked so well the first time, guys. You know, we gotta do it again. Lapras. I'm catching this as fuck. I don't care that I already have a water type. I gotta catch Lapras. Yeah. Get Beautifly out of there. Release. Name you Price. Like this. So, they link an image of the Ocean Gate expedition submersible yeah, the Titan submersible from Ocean Gate, which is the company that went down to see the Titanic and then immediately fucking imploded. Like, immediately. Some ice eels. I've even seen like an engineering video. I've seen an engineering video of breaking down like the problem with the Titan submersible, and the synopsis was basically, yeah, everything that they could have done wrong, they did wrong. You know? Like every conceivable way that you could think of like them messing up, they messed up. Which is, to me, is very funny. Not gonna defend you. That's a pretty good Sableye. About Lapras. That's okay. I think it has Lapras has a decent attack stat too. Gray news. I don't know what gray news is, but okay, here we go. Another billionaire is planning a trip to the Titanic wreckage in a submersible after 5 people were killed in the Ocean Gate Titan disaster last June. Billionaire real estate mogul Larry Connor is teaming up with Patrick Leahy, co-founder and president of Triton Submarines, for the next trip to the Titanic, according to multiple outlets. You know what they say about history repeating itself or something like that? I feel like there's some comment to be made here along those lines. I say let them try. Let them go again. Let's go. Keep letting the billionaires fucking kill themselves off. You know, fuck it. Okay, no Fury Swipes, please. Text? Nah. In fact, I think one of the reasons I feel comfortable laughing about the, like, billionaires, like, getting themselves killed here is because, like, first of all, they're massively powerful and influential, and like, just by virtue of them existing, they exploit people below them because, you know, wealth traveling upwards, etc., that always ends up, like, ruining people's lives. So I don't feel a tremendous amount of sympathy towards them either way. But also, at that depth, right, I also saw an engineering video, or like a science video about this, a sort of simulation of what the collapse of the Titan submersible looked like, the implosion. And it was so fast that the human brain would not have been able to process anything happening until you already had disintegrated. It's not so much that you die, so much as you cease existing, right? At the pressure, at the depth that we're talking about, right? Because water is something like 1,000 times as dense as air or something. It's very dense. You're adding like several orders of magnitude. I can't even process on what we're talking about. Yeah, no, like nobody can really understand the scale at which, like how quickly you would just be turned into tomato soup, basically. You know, so they didn't feel any pain at the very least. They were there one moment, they were gone the next. Surprisingly simple, right? Although I do feel bad for the 19-year-old kid who was dragged down there by his dad, who didn't want to be there. That guy did not need to die. Um, but anyways, there's another reason that I find this funny as well, and it's because of the nature of being a billionaire, but I'll get to that in a minute. Oh, this is a pretty short article. Leahy has spent years working to make submersibles safe for deep dives and has visited the deepest parts of the ocean. Okay, so he has some experience. This real estate guy. Oh no, this is the co-founder and president of Triton Submarines. Okay. Leahy told the Wall Street Journal that a few days after the OceanGate tragedy, he got a call from Connor, who was determined to create another expedition to the Titanic that would prove that it could be done safely. Guys, who's gonna tell him? Who's gonna tell him there have already been expeditions down there, and it's safe? Like, you can do it. You just have to have an actual, like, well-built fucking thing. Like, people have gone... People have done scientific missions, they've done manned missions to the bottom of the fucking Marianas Trench. We have the engineering technology to make submersible vehicles and submarine vessels to go to depths like that, right? Like, it is safe. This is not a debate. What he's talking about here, this is an ego trip, an ego project, like a pet project. He's not actually concerned about proving that it's safe, because people have already gone down to the wreckage of the Titanic. We have photos of it. You know, we know what's going on down there. He just wants to say that he went down there himself. It's kind of like hiking Everest. People have done it, you know, and there's a safe way to do it. You know, there are dangers associated with it, but, you know, you can do it. It's been proven, right? It's not like a super unknown quantity. He just wants to be able to say that he did it himself. This guy, Larry Connor, this real estate guy. Connor, who's worth about $2 billion according to Forbes, is head of the Connor Group, a luxury apartment building investor. He has also previously visited deep parts of the ocean and outer space. Okay, so he was probably on the what was it? The Amazon Dick shuttle, the Dick rocket that went into outer space. According to BBC, Connor and Leahy plan to use a two-person submersible made of acrylic. I don't like the sound of that. That can safely reach 13,000 feet. Look, I'm not an engineer, but I think the acrylic, that makes me a little bit. Well, I don't know. I think submersible windows are made of acrylic, but you wouldn't make your whole submersible out of the window material. Titanic wreckage sits 12,500 feet under the ocean. And the OceanGate Titan submersible only had a range of just under 4,300 feet, according to CBS News. And that's putting range loosely, because it imploded at like 3,800 feet. Connor and Leahy have not said when they plan to take their trip to the Titanic, right? So, I said I would mention the nature of being a billionaire, what that means. And I kind of touched on it a little bit. These guys are entirely, or this guy, this real estate guy, is entirely ego-driven. 0% of this is about proving that it's safe. People have been down to depths like that before, right? Both in manned and unmanned missions. He just wants to do it himself, and this is not a well-thought plan, right? The OceanGate Titan submersible was not well thought out, like not even remotely. And this isn't either. And you can tell because the fucking guy was like, hey, you remember the OceanGate submersible that like got everybody killed? What if we did that again? But like, I swear it'll work this time, because we'll do it a little bit differently. I was like, okay. You know, I think everybody can kind of foresee, like, that's what's going on here. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason that like billionaires are tend to take on ego projects like this, very poorly thought ego projects and stuff like that. And that is as a product of their billions. When you have so much wealth as a billionaire, right? You actually become distanced from the people below you who don't have as much wealth. You know how billionaires, millionaires, are super out of touch with society. That's not just as a product of like any flaw in their person. That's a product of them having that much wealth. It inherently puts you out of touch because you want to make life easier for yourself. You start hiring people, blah, blah. And that kind of wealth disconnects you from society. It literally alienates you from your humanity, from the humanity of others. And because it distances you so hard to humanity, it makes you stupider. A lot of intelligence, a lot of the things that make people intelligent can only occur in the context of interacting with human society in some way. When you have that much wealth, you don't need to interact with human society. You don't need to have intelligence. So being a billionaire literally makes you dumber. You know, because it distances you from that. Like, you could actively try to be a billionaire and make intelligent decisions, and you won't be able to do it. Like, you actually won't be able to. You know? Mr. Beast was asked to join that submarine that sunk back in 2023. Honestly, I'm mixed on whether or not he should have taken that. Hearing what Mr. Beast has been going through with respect to like how YouTube content creation has consumed him. I don't know. I guess just on the face of it, I'm glad that he's not dead. But, you know, the kind of predicament he's in now and the kind of things that he's said to describe the predicament he's in, it almost might have been better that way. You know? Suffice it to say, for better or worse, he dodged a bullet. Ah, yes, Chimecho. You know, I actually don't think I want Chimecho. I have Spoink. Grumpig's way better than Chimecho anyways. So I say, fuck it. Let him try. Let him try with this second submersible. They'll get killed again. And we'll all be doing the same thing again. The media will try to do the like, oh, we're doing a search and rescue, blah, blah, again. And they'll have to be wishy-washy when they interview the Navy, because the Navy will know, like, dog, there's nothing to search or rescue. Like, there's nothing left down there. But that's part of the flaw. The ego trip, the egoism and stupidity of billionaires is actually created by the capitalist system, the system of class that we have in America and the world over. The reason that billionaires are so stupid that they try to build like the Titan submersible or whatever, and they go down and get themselves killed at the bottom of the ocean, or even just halfway down, is because they are billionaires. Because that wealth insulates them from all critique and accountability. Think about it. If you're an engineer or a scientist working for a billionaire, you're getting a decent income, but like you're not rich or whatever. Or maybe you are rich, but you're not a billionaire. You're just doing your job. How would you even go about critiquing your boss? This is somebody that has more money than God. And if you tell him the wrong thing, if you tell them the wrong thing, they could fucking end you. They could make your life hell. They could fire you. They could make it so that you die destitute and poor. Billionaires, by virtue of having so much wealth and power, turn the environments they're in into an environment of yes men, right? Because when you have so much wealth and power at your disposal, people are afraid of how you can use it against them. So people start acting way more permissive, even when you have god awful ideas. And inevitably, that attitude will embed itself such that you're not able to tell anymore. You know, if you're the billionaire, you can't tell anymore which ideas of yours are good and which are bad, because people are going to say yes either way. That makes people stupider. And it makes them do shit like this with the Titan submersible and with this next, potentially this next submersible project. You know, what I'm trying to say here is that ultimately, the Titan submersible could have been prevented if we did not have a capitalist system. We need socialism so that the billionaire class will not be running both the economy and themselves into the bottom of the ocean, into the ground, and so on and so on, right? Like, legit, if we had an economic system, socioeconomic system that didn't concentrate wealth so hard at the top, Communism, one company makes the entire market. Capitalism may become the one thing I swore to destroy. What? I'm not sure I get it, but I'll get back to that. But what I want to finish was basically that if you have a socialist system or a communist system or some hitherto not yet mentioned system or whatever that didn't concentrate wealth at the top like capitalism does, then billionaires would not be possible. The immense concentration of wealth that insulates people from society wouldn't be possible. Therefore, whoever is making the decisions, or the people that are responsible in making the decisions, would disproportionately be smarter. When people aren't insulated from the consequences of their actions, they're a lot smarter with how they make decisions. That's part of why corporations and billionaires are so evil, is because they're immune from all the bad consequences of the decisions that they make. And this was one instance where it actually came back to bite them. This was one instance where the fucking bottom of the ocean doesn't give a shit. If you're a billionaire, you're going to get crushed by that pressure. But up until that point, the billionaires that designed this thing, or that commissioned this thing and wanted to take the submersible down into the ocean, were insulated from all the criticism that had been lightly suggested to them in the process of designing this thing, in all the the engineering process and whatnot. None of that would have happened if this were a socialist system where wealth were owned democratically, where the economy was owned and run democratically, because there would be no billionaires, there would be no class or group of people, or even any one person that had so much wealth that they would be insulated from things that make you a smarter person, right? So basically what I'm saying here, what I'm going to say again, if only we had socialism, this could have been prevented. This wouldn't have happened. Very obscure like connection to make, but it's oddly relevant, because it's like we laugh at like, haha, billionaires are stupid, which is rightly so, right? Billionaires deserve to be laughed at for being so fucking stupid. But it's important to note that it's impossible to have a billionaire that isn't stupid, because that's what that kind of wealth does to you. Future me, if that's a segment, cut it there. Yeah. But yeah, 1v3. I'm not... I actually am not 100% sure what you mean by the, like... One company makes the entire market become the thing I swore to destroy. Like, I don't fully get it. You know what? I think I want to find another Lapras so that I can replace the one I have. I would rather have a special attacking Lapras than physical attacking one. Okay, there's Lapras. Pokeball? Please. I'm loading state here. Like I said, the only time I will use save states. No, that's not very good. The only time I'll use save states is when I'm catching Pokemon, because catching Pokemon is very annoying. Okay, let's try this. Nope. Get him out of here. You know what? All right, that's actually that's quite a bit better. And actually, I'm now wondering. I do want to get rid of Venonat, but I don't know who I would get rid of them with, or like for. I don't know. Let's just defeat this guy. Use Ray. Get rid of that. Actually, let me write that down on the list of segments as well. There we go. Ice Shard. Get Growl out of there. Sing could still be useful, I think. Alright, level 15. Sick. Maybe I'll catch Ghastly? Maybe. Perhaps. Perhaps I shall do that. Yeah, Sableye I can't see being useful for very long. Ghastly, though. Does not nickname Ghastly. Hopefully he has an okay nature. Yeah, neutral's fine. Oh, that's actually super useful. I like that. Let's get Lapras out front just so you can catch drive and whatnot. Curse. That's no, I don't think I want Curse. I really don't think I want that. Sure, Nightshade. Alright, so I found all the Pokemon I could possibly find here. Now let's get out of here. Rest shop. A rest stop and shop area. Very cool. While yes, there are... Oh, okay. While yes, there are examples for other taxi companies, but it's not like Uber's making huge losses, all because of all the sponsoring. It doesn't matter. I think I get what you're saying. Yes, okay. That you're saying, like, that a lot of people say, like, oh, communism is when one company controls the whole market, but meanwhile capitalism has all these monopolies, like with Uber and stuff. Because I agree. That is definitely, like, that is definitely true. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying now. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy the degree to which monopolies are just a natural tendency of capitalism. Because the name of the game in capitalism is, like, accumulation of wealth and outcompeting the other, like, companies in the field. And how do you do that? Well, you absorb them. You merge with them, you do the hostile takeover thing, whatever. And yeah, that naturally leads to monopolies, especially when the government isn't able or willing to really regulate that stuff, you know? Do I need very many medicine things? I don't know if I do. Let's see. Potion, rare candy. Ooh. I have some swift feathers. Clever feather, that's special defense. Muscle feather is attack. I'm gonna hold on to Miltank as long as I can. And I'll also hold on, obviously, to this guy as long as I can. I don't think I can really use Ghastly just yet, so I might not do that. Give you the Genius Feathers as well. Let's do that. There we go. What do you got? TM Shop. Ooh, Shockwave, Flamethrower, Rest, Steel Wing. Ooh, actually, Shockwave and Flamethrower might be good ones to go for. Maybe. Well, no, you have Electro Ball already. I don't know how great that's gonna be, but they're super expensive. Never mind. I don't think I want to go for it. I think I might rather just buy like a couple of potions and then have that be it, right? Maybe I'll buy like some Pokeballs as well. Sure. Just kind of play it relatively modest. It's a mighty trainer. Okay. After that, you're gonna have to pay. You want to use your free heal now. Yeah. Cost you. Oh, okay. So the next time I heal, it's gonna cost me money. Interesting. Curious statue. It reads, "No, I don't want to glimpse the future for 1,000 money." Let's see what's up here. Liza. Oh boy. This is one of the psychic type gym leaders. You know what's really interesting is that in Ruby and Sapphire, you only battle one of the twins, and then in Pokemon Emerald, you fight both of them at the same time, which is really cool. Execute. Oh, do I have anything that can even handle grass types? I don't think I do. Fuck it. Whitney, I guess. Well, it is also Psychic type, but... No, it has fucking... Ah! Okay. Please flinch a bunch. That'd be good. Yeah. Lunatone. Take care of you, hopefully. Yeah, okay, that's not too bad. Oh, only 3 Pokemon. Alright, cool. That works out. And everybody's healed. Sick. What do we got? This is tough, breezy route. I'll probably go down this route. Sure. Paralyze heal. Where is... Okay. I am way too loaded up on segments, so I'm just gonna go, like, off of the next couple things without really referring to news all that hard. Um, you know? I'll mention India. We do some electoral politics every now and again. And definitely some interesting stuff has been happening in India as well. I mentioned that there are elections coming up in Britain, and there's an election that happened already in Mexico. But did you know that there was also an election in India? And Narendra Modi is the far right prime minister there. And his party, unfortunately, they won the election, you know? But, fortunately, they didn't win by that much. He got a, I believe he is now serving his 3rd term as prime minister there. But this time his party only won, like, 50-ish% of the vote or something. He's right-wing? Yeah, Narendra Modi is like the Indian Hitler, basically. His party's platform is a Hindu nationalist platform, and they really hate Muslims. And they really hate people that are not Hindi or Hindu, which comprises a large part of India. Basically, think of him like the BBB, kind of. Bloodsport. Yeah. Let me look this up. India elections. Not surprising, India is the most racist country after all. Yeah, I mean, it kind of is. India's got all sorts of goofy shit. In fact, one of the interesting things was that the polling numbers predicted the far-right party, the BJP, which is Modi's party, to get way more seats than they actually did, than they actually ended up getting. You know? So they massively underperformed in the elections. To such an extent that, like, he now has to coalition build with some of the other parties, and they're not other far right parties. India only has the one big far right party, and then they have a couple smaller parties, and then they have the Congress Party, which is, I think, like a liberal party. And Modi was really looking to do some constitutional changes in India, presumably targeted against Muslims and stuff like that, because, like, what the fuck else is he interested in, really? But that requires, like, a 2/3 majority, and he doesn't have that now. Even with his coalition, he only has, like, 50-ish to 60-ish% majority. And that's a coalition. It's not like an ideological coalition. It's a coalition of convenience, as you might call it. Get Spite out of there and learn Confuse Ray instead. Bubble Beam, that's pretty good. And one thing to note as well, part of what lost him so much support, part of what made Narendra Modi lose so much support, is that he is a Hindu nationalist. The Hindu nationalist platform is, like, alienating to most people in India, and I think that's been borne out more over time. You know, there's a lot of people that are Hindu nationalists, but ever since tensions have been rising with like the far right doing their thing, um, more and more people have realized, hey, wait a minute, he doesn't actually mean me. Like, he's not actually interested in my interests. He's interested in these other people's interests, Hindu nationalist interests or whatever. And so people really turned out to vote against Modi, especially. Forget defense scroll, I guess. And missile. A tail whip. Magic coat. I should find another news outlet that isn't AP. Here we go, Vox. Modi won the Indian election, so why does it seem like he lost? BJP's poor performance shows the limits of his autocratic Hindu supremacist policies. Yeah. There's never serious doubt that Modi would remain in the top spot. He faced no credible opposition during the last two elections, and heading into this year's 6-week-long staggered election, he was widely expected to further consolidate his hold over Indian politics. But surprisingly, he didn't. Not only did Modi's BJP lose a huge number of parliamentary seats to a revitalized opposition coalition, but it also lost big in states where it enjoyed massive popularity, including Uttar Pradesh, India's most populous state. So that's in like northern central India, I think. Yeah, you got it. Yay! Linoon. Modi campaigned on a promise to win more than 400 seats, which would have given his coalition more than enough power to amend the constitution, which requires a 2/3 majority, or 362 seats. Even though he won this year's contest, he has for now failed in his ambition to further consolidate power. He'll likely face new constraints on his increasingly authoritarian leadership, thanks to a renewed opposition coalition, and possibly from within his own coalition, too. What had he been doing? Oh, yeah, that's right. Modi, one of the things that Modi had done, I think, obviously India being a very, like, not quite developed country, they have a lot of problems with corruption. And I think one of the things that had been happening was that Modi and Modi's party were, like, bribing opposition parties and opposition party members and whatever. But they've been, like, rooting out those people over the past several years, and because he bought off a bunch of people, he effectively cleaned out those parties because they moved to his party or became more sympathetic to him. So now those parties don't have those people anymore, if that makes sense, right? You know, kind of like how in America, what's her name, Kirsten Sinema and I think also Joe Manchin left the Democratic Party, like they're not Democrats anymore, they're independents. It's a little bit like that. There were other problems, including concerns that Muslims and people from marginalized castes had about their constitutional protections under Modi. The BJP's tactic of silencing critics via arrests and threats may have begun to wear on people. Yeah, I feel like that. Yeah, that probably did have an effect. Yeah, you know, it's people don't tend to like that. Though it's not clear how much that influences their choices in the polling booth. I would say it's at least somewhat of an influence. This qualifies as a climate of fear. They'll go and vote. Suing is impeding the conversation before that. What's interesting, what it's doing is impeding the conversation before the voting. The climate of fear, what may have contributed to the surprise results. Politicians and pollsters couldn't predict that people would vote against the BJP because they weren't saying so aloud. Oh, okay, so it's like people kind of knew that, like, the BJP might not get super far in these elections, but they didn't want to predict that because then Modi would be like, the fuck you say? And then, like, arrest them or something. That's interesting. Do I want Rain Dance? I don't. I don't think I do. Sucker Punch? I don't want Sucker Punch. How can you learn Sucker Punch? You don't have arms, silly. You silly, silly Billy. Forget Stomp for Body Slam. I really like Body Slam. Here, hold on. Modi. Modi paying opposition. What was this? Where was it? No, that wasn't it. I remember specifically there was an article that did mention that Modi and the BJP like paid off opposition members or something, but then like that as a result led them to sort of clean house in their own party, and now they've come back a lot stronger or something. Uh, but yeah, so even if India like the left didn't win the election or whatever, the far right lost ground, and I think that's good because they don't really have the mandate of heaven anymore, right? Like it seemed a little bit like India was just going absolutely nuts for the first few years of Narendra Modi's prime ministership. But now it's like he's kind of on more shaky ground. People aren't as down to clown with that shit. You know? Potions. Potions. Any hidden items? No. Clever feather. Wait, don't you have a... Oh, you have special defense down. Why did I use those on you earlier then? Yeah, hold on. Oh, you have special defense up. Let me use these on you. Health feather. Cool. Fluffy tail. Used to flee battle with any Pokemon. Interesting. What other Pokemon can I find here? Oh, Execute. Okay. Alright. That solves that question then. Okay, seems like level 25 is the level cap. Yay, Haunter! Shadow Punch? I don't know. Maybe Hypnosis? Yeah, I think I just don't want to learn Shadow Punch at all. He's not a physical attacker, so... Let's keep going, I guess. India... bribing opposition. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's not much I could find on that corruption stuff. I know there was some like there was an article that mentioned it, but I would have to go elsewhere to look at it, I think. Ran away safely. Very nice. Items! Yes, I love items. Okay, yeah. Reach the level cap. Genius feathers, paralyze heal. Feathers, heal. Okay. Those on you. Use those on you. Swift feather. Who do I need to be fast? I need you to be fast. Let's use them on you. Just cause. I don't know. I mean, they earn EVs after battle anyway. So. Put you up front. Wait, no, hold on. I want to do this. Yeah, okay, there we go. Of course, I didn't have the right person out front. Oh, he has his own tempo? Okay, okay. Meowth. Zeke, go get him. Oh, rip. Why does he have a life orb? Below? No, he's a rich boy, okay. Elf feathers. Yeah, I think I'll use those on you. More health feathers. Don't mind if I do. That guy's gonna be a tank once I'm done with him. Whip feathers. I will use those on you. And fast boys. Is this? Oh, this just comes back down here. Okay. Cool. Alright, well let's go. Wait, what was this? A game show? You know what? I think I'm good. I don't think I want a game show right now. Calm Fierce Route. Sure. More opportunity to get some items, fight some trainers. I might use Milk Drink. Oh no! That hurts me? I didn't know that. Alright, I'm just gonna use some potions to heal those guys. Yeah, okay. Hawk Times, J, American Airlines, okay. One thing I saw this morning, you ready for some good old fucking racism or some shit? I'm gonna say the N-word. That's not what's happening. I'm not doing that. But, I saw some of the most, like, bald-faced racism that I've ever seen this morning. Legit the kind of racism that you learn about in kindergarten in the United States. There was an airline flight from United Airlines that was going from Arizona to New York, so U.S. Southwest to U.S. Northeast. It's quite a long flight. And, apparently a white male flight attendant complained about, like, oh, somebody's got body odor. Basically, uh-oh, stinky. And so like, I don't know how this communication went down. I don't know if he directly said, kick all the black guys off of the plane, but the flight attendants went through the aisles of the plane, looked for all of the black men, and picked them out and kicked them off of the flight before the flight left. And they said, yeah, you can't be on the flight. And fucking one of the flight attendants was, I think, a black lady who basically knew, like, yeah, we're only pretty much kicking these guys off the flight because they're black. Like, that's what we were told to do functionally. Because the guys that got kicked off were like, they were complaining about it. They were like, what? Why us? Like, they identified pretty quickly, like, you just got every black guy on the flight and kicked them off. Like, it was only black guys getting kicked off the flight. It's like, they were just saying, like, this is just racism. This is just because of the color of our skin, bro. And the flight attendant that they were talking to was like, yeah, I don't disagree. This probably is why. And so I was like, oh, shit. And it was so blatant that it was actually, like, grounds for a legal suit. Like, they sued. They're suing, I believe, United Airlines, or maybe it's American Airlines. I forget which one. It's, let's see, American Airlines? Yeah, it was American Airlines, not United. American Airlines is now being sued for discrimination. Because one of their flight attendants just fucking had everybody who was a black guy kicked off the damn flight. You know, it legitimately reminded me of learning about the incident when Rosa Parks was on that on a bus, and she sat in the white people only section, and they were like, hey, you gotta go to the back of the bus, and she didn't want to get up. And I don't know, I guess it just kind of reminded me that, like, yeah, you know, just because the US is one of the least racist countries in the world doesn't mean we're not still massively fucking racist. You know, and a lot of the racism in the United States, or I get at least the racism against black people in the United States is still systemically, like, it still happens systemically. Even though it's illegal and they can sue over this, if this happened in, like, the 1950s, these guys wouldn't have even been able to sue over this. Like, that's the only difference. It's like, oh, 1950, fucking black people get kicked off of public transit for being black. They get denied housing in certain neighborhoods for being black, even if they have the money. They can't drink from certain water fountains for being black. They can't fucking hang out with white people, you know, even if they're both okay with each other, because the KKK will fucking mob them, right? The only difference between then and now is that, like, oh, like, now you can sue over any of that shit, but that shit will all still happen. It's crazy. Y'all aren't racist because when you're the country, because when you are the country will explode. That's true. Battle. Ooh. That's a Mart Rest Shop. Battle Cry. Well, what do we got here? What do we got? Wow, okay, that's some serious moves right there. Some serious moves. Ice Punch. Well, at least Haunter has hands, so he can learn that shit. Dazzling Gleam. I mean, I have the money for it. I might revisit that. Move to leader. Egg move tutor. What kind of moves can my Pokemon learn from the egg? Well, that's interesting. That way, it's Thunder Punch. Again, he does have hands now, so it's technically real. Endure, Curse, Hammer Arm. Extreme Speed. Future Sight, Extra Sensory, Trick, Skill Swap. You know what? How much money do I have? 14,000? He charges 2,000. This guy charges what? 3,000. Okay, I'm gonna go to this guy. I'm gonna have you learn the Extra Sensory. Yeah. Forget Psywave. Yes, I would like to teach somebody else. And I want somebody else to learn something. You learn Extreme Speed, I think? Yeah, get Sand Attack out of here. Learn Extreme Speed instead. And then I'll come down to you. Spend 3,000 to teach you Freeze Dry, because that's a really good move. There we go. Freeze Dry is an Ice-type move that is also super effective against Water types. Held items. I don't care much for the Toxic Orb. Icy Rock, Psychic Seed. Only one time. Blender policy. That's good for Focus Miss. Ability Patch. Ooh, some of those mitts for natures and stuff. That could be good. Who has a nature that I don't really like? You have a okay one. You're fine. You're fine as well. You're fine. You are okay too. And you're fine. So I don't really care that much about natures for that. Zinc does special defense. That does speed. I don't know. I don't know. I don't care that much, I don't think. Oh, you actually. Yes, I would like to check. How does you evolve? Race level 32. Okay, cool. Thank you. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, wait. What about you? Raised by a level while holding the link cable. Okay, so I don't know. I don't have a link cable, I don't think, so I'll have to find one of those later. Okay, let's keep going then. A mighty trainer. And I don't need to heal this time, which is great. I do not need to level up right now. This is going to be a true blind entry. I don't know what I'm going up against. It's... okay, it's Norman. Linoon. I'm just going to start with one of these. Cool. I can't do shit to Linoon with Haunter because all he has is Ghost type moves. So instead, I will have... probably Whitney. Don't wanna pull any punches here. That seems like a recipe for disaster if I do that. Ooh, sending out Miltank, eh? You have Confuse Ray, so I might... you have Confuse Ray too, so I'll do that first. Then Thunder Wave. Oh boy, that's not good. Fortunately... Seismic Toss. Not good. Alright, confused again. Thank you. Used Milk Drink. That's probably fine. Okay, yeah, I'm good, I'm good. Loudred. I can probably stay in for that. In fact, I think I should stay in for that just because of, ooh. Because of the, Stealth Rocks. Now would be a good time to use this. Ditto. Who can I handle as, against Ditto? Probably this. Okay, that works. That works real well. Nice. Got the gym badge. That's gym badge number 2. Yeah. I'm doing alright in this game. This game's pretty cool. I'm so glad that Opium again recommended this game to me. Average Mighty, that's a calm route. I don't know who that guy is. I think I'm gonna go just straight here and then hit that guy who has the battle prep stuff again. The battle prep shop is pretty good. Which out of all games you play on stream are you the best at and why? Ooh, interesting question. Relative to the player base, I think without a doubt Mario Kart. Mario Kart Wii is a game where I can actually hang with the best of the best if I'm like on a good day, right? In those terms, I think Mario Kart Wii is the game that I am the best at. Because the other games that I play are Super Smash Bros., which I answered, I think, to you or some... I forget who asked me. It could have been you, but that's my be. Super Smash Bros., I'm better than at least half the player base, but still not great. I can't really crack it at top level. Yeah, that was me. Okay, yeah. And then Pokemon, I'm also pretty good at in theory. But again, I struggle from that issue more so in Pokemon even than in Smash Bros., where I understand the theory of Pokemon, but I'm very bad at putting it into practice. You know, so like I understand Pokemon at top level. In fact, I understand it super well. But I can't really play Pokemon at top level. I'm really good at it. I'm just not as good as like all the guys that attend the tournaments, or even just the people that frequent Pokemon Showdown, you know? Those are the 3 games I've been playing lately. And then, you know, Minecraft, it's like, how do I even measure my competency in that game? I don't really play PvP, so I'm not really good at that. And then Creative World, sure, I got a good Creative World, but there's plenty of people that build way more insane shit than I do, you know? So yeah, probably Mario Kart Wii would be the game that I am the best at. Although it would be close if I ever did streams, if I ever did like more streams of me playing Star Wars Battlefront, you know, the new one, or I say the new one, the one that came out in 2017, I think that would be a contender for the game that I am the best at that I have streamed, because I can also hang with the like top level players in that game as well, you know. It's like between that and Mario Kart, but I think just because I play Mario Kart so much more often, I think that takes the cake. Harish song. I don't like that. I don't want that. Signal beam. I've got other Pokemon with Confuse Ray. I think I can comfortably forget Confuse Ray there. Payback. Nah, I'm too fast for Payback to really be useful. I don't care that much about Bestow. It seems kind of gimmicky. And okay. Yay! Chinchou's evolving. Fun. Stockpile. No, I don't think I want to learn that. Maybe one of these days I'll do the stockpile slash swallow slash spit up moveset gimmick thing. But not right now, probably. Cupid. I don't care too much for that. But since it seems like we got some ghost types here, we have Haunter out front. Ah, here's something interesting. Spain just keeps farming W's, dude. I swear. Got its AP article here. Spain applies to join South Africa's case at top UN court, accusing Israel of genocide. This is off the heels of Spain and Ireland both recognizing Palestine, the state of Palestine, and now they're saying like, yeah, Israel is committing a genocide here. You know, and we want to join South Africa in these legal accusations. Which is, you know, even if it's, like, it's one of those things that probably won't directly mount to anything, at least not very quickly, for sure. But, it is good for that sort of international pressure, directly on Israel, but also indirectly through pressure on the rest of the Western world. You know, Spain being a pretty significant country in the EU. It's not like the most wealthy or anything, but, you know, France and Germany are right nearby. They're going to be thinking about Spain taking a more overtly pro-Palestine stance. You know, since, like I said, most countries really don't like Netanyahu and the Likud party. They're going to be thinking about, like, kind of looking for an excuse to say, all right, Israel, now it's time to stop. And, you know, Spain's trying to give them, trying to provide the room for other countries to do that. It's like opening the door just bit by bit. And that's good. And headbutt. No, I already have a psych type. I'm good. Power gem. Ooh, that's good. Psych, I'll probably forget that. Rest. I don't think I care much for that. Not right now, anyways. Spain, Sweden, and Ireland, right? Yes, that's right. Those are the three European countries right now, or at least like Western European countries that recognize Palestine as a state. Yay, Shadow Ball finally. Get that move out of there. Ice Beam. Ooh. I think Ice Beam is better than Freeze Dry. Well, by the way, out here in the EU, we had elections for the EU. Oh yeah, let's take a look at that real quick, just cause. Let's say EU elections. Netherlands kicks off European Parliament election. Ah. Dutch left wing holds off surging Wilders in tight EU election, polls show. Left wing party GroenLinks, PVDA, and PVV are real close. Interesting. Reuters, what do you have for me? Stop telling me to pay for your news coverage. I'm not gonna. Alright. Do you have any numbers, or is it just words? It's just words. Thank you, Reuters. Very cool. No one can tell the end results so that it won't have effects on other countries' elections. Oh, interesting. Okay, okay. Huh. They've a lot of people saying that these are like really important EU elections. 8 seats for GroenLinks PVDA, 7 for PVV. Wow. That's okay. That's really good for the left in the EU and the Netherlands. That's also really interesting. I think that's really bad for the far right. Right? Isn't it the PVV is that new like far right party in the Netherlands? Um and they just recently, like a year or two ago, like 2 years ago, they came to prominence. They started being like a really big party. And now they're just like they're already like falling behind. You know, I saw a video a little while back about the EU elections, and what they could mean for Europe. A lot of the far right parties are apparently doing pretty well right now, with relative to the EU elections and whatever. But what was interesting to me, even if the far right gets blown out or whatever, which I hope they do, regardless of whether they win or lose, the far right really doesn't like each other, you know? Most of the right parties that took over the elections in the Netherlands, yeah, most of those voters didn't vote for the EU. Ah, interesting. 47% voted out here. Okay. So pretty low turnout. It's like American elections turnout. That's the kind of turnout we get for national legislature elections. And then for local elections, shit is way worse. Oh, I don't want to learn Captivate. But yeah, this video that I saw about the EU Parliament, the European Parliament, and the political parties there is that even though there are a lot of far right parties, they all hate each other. Seriously, like the German far right doesn't like the French far right, and they don't like the Dutch far right, and they don't like the Czech far right or the Slovak far right or what, like whoever else. And so all the far right parties can't work together. Guessing it's because those people are the same people that don't like the EU after all the new plans of our new government breaks a lot of EU laws. That's probably part of it, yeah. You know, a lot of the far-right parties really don't like the EU, so they don't like each other for participating in the EU, but then they think, oh, well, you know, I'm different, right? And then also, I think the far-right, being very nationalist, very ultra-nationalist and stuff, they also just don't like far-right parties from other countries, you know? It's like this is one of the ways that the far right just kind of eats itself. It could even not even be that. It could just be that they're in the European Parliament. They're doing the same thing that the Dutch far right does, which is just like compete to see who is the most anti-migrant, and then all like hate each other over tiny petty things, and then cause a government collapse. Good to see me and my parents weren't the only ones voting for them. That's good. Our new government breaks a lot of EU laws. We're voting for PV, the Green Links, like the Green Coalition. You'll have to see it. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I think the yeah, okay. The there's like a combination of things that makes the far right probably, it makes it so that the far right is probably going to fail in the EU Parliament, you know? And in addition to what you know, you said about the like all those far right parties not liking the EU, you know, and like not being able to follow the EU laws to actually do things that they want to do, and then like the far right parties not liking each other, and stuff like that. You know, it definitely limits the amount of damage that the far right can do. That the far right is very incompetent. That definitely helps, you know, it helps them not do very much damage there. Um, Pesto berries, okay. Getting some cool berries here. Okay, yeah. What's down here? Is there an item? There is. Like that. 3 bold ones. That's attack down, defense up. And then, oh, adamant mint. I don't like that. You know what? If anybody has a neutral nature that's... Okay. Or maybe not then. So at this point, I will save the game. I'm just gonna do that, and it seems that we've come up on the end of stream. So I talked about most of the stuff that I wanted to talk about, which is nice. This game definitely enables me to do that more than Melee or Mario Kart does, even though Mario Kart's definitely a good like middle spot between those. Kind of regrettable that Melee didn't quite do me well, but I'll see you guys next time. Let me go back to... I'll go back to Twitch and try to raid somebody. Cody Schwab is live. He's playing Melee. Oh, well, here's... Actually... Yeah, I'll just raid Cody Schwab. So, yeah, thank you for turning out for stream. Expect some segments from this. Probably gonna... I don't know, maybe kind of sloppily edit them. We'll see. We'll see. And I'll see you guys next time. See ya.